Hey, welcome back. In this episode, we're going to learn about Azure Active Directory. My name is Sushant Satish, and I'm your trainer for this AZ-303 certification course. So, without wasting any more time, let's get into it. Let's start with understanding what is Azure Active Directory all about. Azure Active Directory is Microsoft multi-tenant cloud-based directory and identity management service. It is called as Azure AD as well. For IT admins, Azure AD provides an affordable, easy to use solution to give employees and business partners single sign-on access to thousands of SaaS-based applications like Office 365, Salesforce, Dropbox, and Concur. For application developers, Azure AD lets you focus on building your application by making it fast and simple to integrate with a world-class identity management solution used by millions of organizations around the world. Before I take you to the Azure portal to explain and show you how Azure AD looks like, let me take you through some of the benefits and features of Azure AD. The first benefit is single sign-on to any cloud or on-premises web applications. Azure AD provides secure single sign-on to cloud and on-premises applications, including Microsoft 365 and thousands of SaaS applications such as Salesforce, Workday, DocuSign, ServiceNow, and Box. Another benefit is Azure AD works with iOS, Mac OS X, Android, and Windows device. So users can launch applications from a personalized web-based access panel, mobile app, Office 365, or custom company portal using their existing work credentials and have the same experience whether they are working on an iOS, Mac OS X, Android, and Windows devices. Another benefit I would like to highlight is Azure AD can protect on-premises web applications with secure remote access. You can access your on-premises web applications from everywhere and protect with multi-factor authentication, conditional access policies, and group-based access management. Users can access SaaS and on-premises web apps from the same portal. Fourth benefit is you can easily extend Active Directory to the cloud as well. You can connect Active Directory and other on-premises directories to Azure Active Directory in just a few clicks and maintain a consistent set of users, groups, passwords, and devices across both environments. Another benefit is you can protect sensitive data and applications. Azure AD helps you enhance application access security with unique identity protection capabilities that provide a consolidated view into suspicious sign-in activities and potential vulnerabilities. You can take advantage of advanced security reports, notifications, remediation recommendations, and risk-based policies to protect your business from current and future threats. Let us look into one more benefit. Azure AD can help you reduce cost and enhance security with self-service capabilities. You would be able to delegate important tasks such as resetting passwords and the creation and management of groups to your employees. This will help you provide self-service application access and password management through verification steps, and this can help you reduce the help desk calls and enhance your organization's security. Please note that if you are an Office 365, Azure, or Dynamics CRM online customer, you might not realize that you are already using Azure AD. Every Office 365, Azure, and Dynamics CRM tenant is already an Azure AD tenant. So whenever you want, you can start using that tenant to manage access to thousands of other cloud applications with Azure AD integrates with. Let's understand Azure AD concepts. The first concept is identity. Identity is a thing that gets authenticated. An identity can be a user with a username and password. Identities also include applications or other servers that might require authentication through secret keys or certificates. The second concept is account. Account is an identity that has data associated with it. You cannot have an account without an identity. Third concept is Azure AD account. Azure AD account is an identity created through Azure AD or other Microsoft cloud service such as Office 365. Identities are stored in Azure AD and accessible to your organization's cloud service subscriptions. This account is also sometimes called a work or school account. Another important concept we need to understand is what is Azure Tenant. Azure Tenant is a dedicated and trusted instance of Azure AD that automatically created when your organization signs up for a Microsoft Cloud Service subscription, such as Microsoft Azure, Microsoft Intune, or Office 365. An Azure tenant represent a single organization. Another concept we have to learn is Azure AD directory. So each Azure tenant has dedicated and trusted Azure AD directory. The Azure AD directory includes the tenant's users, groups, and apps and is used to perform identity and access management functions for tenant resources. And finally, Azure subscription. Azure subscription is a construct that which where you can use to deploy all your workloads, which you can then use within your Azure. And the subscription is how you pay for your Azure cloud services. Now let's learn about what is Azure AD Join. Azure Active Directory enables single sign-on to devices, apps, and services from anywhere. This includes devices, including bring your own device, and empowers end users to be productive wherever and whenever. But IT administrators must ensure that corporate assets are protected and the devices meet standards for security and compliance. So Azure AD Join is designed to provide access to organizational apps and resources and to simplify Windows deployment of work-owned devices. Azure AD Join will let you join your Windows 10 devices to Azure AD directly. So let's look at some of the benefits of Azure AD Join. The first benefit is you will get single sign-on access to Azure managed SaaS applications and services, and your users will not have additional authentication prompts when accessing work resources. The single sign-on functionality is available even when users are not connected to the domain network. The second benefit is enterprise compliant roaming of user settings across joint devices. So users don't need to connect to a Microsoft account, for example, a Hotmail, to observe settings across devices. Third benefit is you get access to Microsoft Store for Business using an Azure AD account, and your users can choose from an inventory of applications pre-selected by the organization. Another benefit is you get to use Windows 10 with support for secure and convenient access to work resources. Another great benefit is you get a restriction of access to application from only devices that meet compliance policy. Last benefit is seamless access to on-premises resources when the device has line of sight to the on-premises domain controller. So don't worry about any of these benefits. Along the way, we are going to dive deep into all of this in detail, including you will learn how to see and do this in Azure portal itself. Now let's look into connection options. To get a device under the control of Azure AD, you have two options: registering a device and joining a device. Registering a device to Azure AD enables you to manage a device's identity. When a device is registered, Azure AD device registration provides the device with an identity that is used to authenticate the device when a user signs in to Azure AD. You can use the identity to enable or disable a device. Another connection option is joining. Joining a device is an extension to registering a device. This means it provides you with all the benefits of registering a device, and in addition to this, it also changes the local state of a device. And changing the local state enables your users to sign into devices using an organizational work or school account instead of a personal account. Now let us look at what are the devices which you can use to enroll to Azure AD. First, let's look into Azure AD device registered. Devices that are Azure AD registered are typically personally owned or mobile devices and are signed in with a personal Microsoft account or another local account. The devices which support registration are Windows 10, iOS, Android, and Mac operating system. Now let's look into what all devices which support Azure AD Join. So devices that are Azure AD joined are owned by an organization and are signed in with an Azure AD account belonging to that organization. They exist only in the cloud. So the devices which support are Windows 10 and in some cases Windows Server 2019 virtual machine running in Azure. In this instance, the server core is not supported. The next scenario is hybrid AD join. So devices that are hybrid Azure AD joined are owned by an organization and are signed in with an Azure AD domain services account belonging to that organization. They exist in the cloud and on premises. The devices which support hybrid Azure AD join are Windows 7, 8.1 or Windows 10 or Windows Server 2008 or newer versions of operating system. So let me show you how you can find the devices in the Azure portal. I'm on my Azure portal now. Go to Azure Active Directory. Under Manage, click on Devices. This is where you would be able to find all the devices enrolled to your Azure AD tenant. As you can see that I have devices like Windows, iOS, Android, and Windows 10 as well. Please note that a hybrid state refers to more than just the state of a device. For a hybrid state to be valid, a valid Azure AD user also is required. If you notice, for all of these devices, there is an owner associated with it. Either it is Rick or Modi. Now let us look into Azure AD Identity Protection. Protection is a tool that allows organization to accomplish three key tasks. This will allow organization to automate the detection and remediation of identity-based risk, investigate risk using data in the portal, and export risk detection data to third-party utilities for further analysis. Identity protection identifies risk in following classifications. So let me show you where you can find Azure AD Identity Protection. I'm on my Azure portal now. Go to your Azure Active Directory. Under Manage, scroll down to Security. Under Protect, you can find Identity Protection. This is where you would be able to find different ways to protect like user risk policies, sign-in risk policy, risky user sign-in, etc. And you get bunch of reports as well. Don't worry, we will come back to that later. And there are three key reports that administrators use for investigations in identity protection: risky users, risky sign-ins, and risky detections. That concludes episode 2. In the next episode, we're going to learn about management groups, subscriptions, and resource groups. I will see you on the next one. Until then, take care.